Okay folks, I hate to start off a really cool course with the regs, but in doing the research for this course, the very first thing that most pilots asked us about flying with the iPad was, am I even legal? So I'm going to try to put as much energy as I can into this segment to get you through the regulations. First off, answer this question. Are you a commercial operator? If the answer to that question is yes, then you need approval from your assigned FAA inspector. But if the answer to that question is no, we move on to the next question. That being, does your iPad interfere with your aircraft's avionics? Now, this is something you will need to test in each aircraft that you fly. If the answer is yes, the iPad does interfere with the avionics, then you need to turn the iPad off and or move it to another location in the aircraft. It may stink, but sorry, there's nothing else you can do about it.
Now, pilots usually think of interference in terms of radio noise or the GPS not working. But remember, these iPads have magnets in them to hold the cover on. Here's a pilot deviation from the Aviation Safety Reporting System, where a pilot attempted to shoot a VOR approach, but he had set his directional gyro 30 degrees off because his iPad was next to the compass. Look what happens when I place my iPad on the glare shield. If I remove the iPad away from the compass swings wildly. If I then take my iPad and place it back on the glare shield, now watch the compass carefully. That iPad is definitely interfering with the compass.
So now, if you've tested the iPad and it does not interfere with your avionics, great! Then it's okay to use for supplemental purposes. That means not for primary navigation. And finally, ask yourself this question, which most pilots are asking. Do you want to replace all of your paper charts? I'm talking about en routes, sectionals, and approach place. Most pilots immediately say yes, but be careful. The current regulations stipulate that you must disable, that's turn off, own ship position on moving maps in flight if you want to fly without paper. And just to prove to you that we did our research, when you look at the guidance to replace paper charts with an EFB, we first look at Advisory Circular 91-78, and in typical AC fashion, that AC makes you refer to yet another AC 120-76 Alpha, to understand the definition of EFBs and their applications. To summarize, that AC says that interactive electronic charts must be without the display of aircraft/own ship position. So as of now, and I imagine it's probably going to change down the road, but as of right now, if you want own ship position on moving maps on the iPad, you are going to need to carry paper charts with you to be legal. So I know what's going through your head. You're sitting there watching this saying to yourself, why on earth does the FAA think own ship position can be a problem? And here's the logic behind this. It's because own ship position shows where you are. You need to be using charts to plan where you are going. The iPad GPS or external Bluetooth GPS, such as a dual XGPS 150, which is what I use, are not FAA certified, and there's the potential for your iPad's position to be in conflict with your certified aircraft GPS. The FAA, knowing this, doesn't want you to be distracted by conflicting information. The other risk is, if you become over-reliant on your moving map and stop looking ahead to where you're going, you can get into trouble, and we've already seen pilots doing this. After a while, you're going to start doing what we call map flying, and this is where the pilot fixates on the MFD/moving map or the iPad.
And here, fixating on the iPad is showing up in the Aviation Safety Reporting System. This pilot was reliant on the iPad GPS to show where he was, and it started misbehaving. Depending upon the level of zoom, it showed him either inside or outside the Class Charlie airspace. He should have used the iPad for charting and the onboard avionics, or good old pilotage, to determine his location. This pilot got sucked into the eye candy and started navigating based on his iPad GPS.
So I have an advisory for you. When switching to the iPad as an EFB, always have some form of backup for charts. Some people are using a second iPad, and if you are, make sure it's always charged and up to date. Another alternative is to carry paper charts as a backup. So there you have it. As painful as it was, I ran you through the regs. Now you should be able to answer that first question every iPad aviator wants to know. Am I legal?